And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way, the Cincinnati Bengals edition. We are here to discuss the Cincinnati Bengals Mount Rushmore. I know what you're thinking. Do the Cincinnati Bengals have 4 guys to put on the mountain? I guess we'll find out. We also have a guest today. Tyler has joined us. Our resident Bengals fan has come here to share his Bengals knowledge. And so give Tyler a nice welcome. And I will go ahead and go to Tyler and say, Tyler, who's the number 4 guy on your Mount Rushmore?
Well, for me, that's kind of tough because I like growing up I've been watching all the young studs, I should say. And
Joe Burrow's not on your list, is he?
Oh, he's on there, but he can't be the top 4.
He would have won.
Maybe next year. But no, for my 4th, I'm going to go with Boomer Esiason, the left-handed quarterback.
Boomer Esiason. Does anybody else have Boomer on their list?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I also do.
I did not, no.
All right. So everybody except for Wade has Boomer Esiason on the
Ray
list.
put him on there too?
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
So, Tyler, you got anything to tell us about Boomer? Or?
Well, I mean, he was one of the best left-handed quarterbacks of all time. He led the Bengals to one of their 3 Super Bowls and was one broken pass away from winning. But he had 37,920 yards and 247 career touchdowns, and he also won the 1988 MVP.
Yeah, that's what I have down is that he won an MVP with the Bengals. He did not finish his career with the Bengals, which is, he played 5 years elsewhere, which is probably why he's 4th on my list. But he's second all time in Bengals history in passing yards. So, yep, that's why he made my list.
Didn't he play for, the Jets
and
Cardinals?
And the Cardinals, yep.
Yeah.
I think he played 4 seasons for the Jets and 1 for the Cardinals,
Yeah.
I think, yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to add on Boomer?
I just thought it was impressive that a Bengal had an MVP.
Well, he's not the only MVP on my list.
There's one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have Boomer 3rd on my list. He's not my
Oh,
4th.
Yeah, Boomer
Oh.
my 3rd too.
Oh, 3rd,
So we still got
okay.
a couple of 4s.
Boomer's my 4th.
He's my 4th as well. So 3/4 and 2/3. So, all right. Do we move on, or somebody else got anything to add about Boomer?
He's a decent announcer. I like
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, he does all right.
That's where I know him from the most, obviously. I didn't get to watch him play a
better than
lot.
Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't also a Bengal. There you go.
Not on the list.
Yeah, not on my list either.
No.
So, Wade, who's your number 4?
I put Geno Atkins.
Geno Atkins. All right.
I think
Yeah.
one of the more underrated players. I mean, of the 2010s, there were 3 consistent, dominant defensive tackles that were dominant throughout the entire 2010s. But you got Aaron Donald, obviously, Fletcher Cox, and Geno Atkins, I think, were the 3 mainstays at the Pro Bowl every single year throughout the 2010s. He has 8 Pro Bowls. He has multiple first-team All-Pros. He was probably the best player on the Bengals defense for numerous years. Very underrated. 75 career sacks as a defensive tackle is very, very good. And a lot of what defensive tackles do to disrupt the other team isn't even really on a stat sheet. It's moving the pocket, disrupting the line of scrimmage, getting double teamed, things that he did on a daily basis that you had to scheme for, and he was a monster. I mean, 8 Pro Bowls and multiple All-Pros are pretty impressive, I thought.
Yeah, and 75 sacks out of a tackle is a pretty nice number, too.
Well, and it used to be defense wins championships.
Yeah. And, he was on some good teams. They just, unfortunately, didn't have a ton of playoff success, but they had a lot of teams that made the playoffs that
he was on those
favored to win.
Those Andy Dalton playoff teams, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton, like Giovanni Bernard and Jeremy Hill and all those guys. Whitworth was there on the offensive line.
Wasn't worth a hoot.
They had like Carlos Dunlap and shit like that.
Vontez Burfict.
Yeah. Pac-Man Jones was there.
Pac-Man Jones, yeah.
Yeah.
Forgot about him.
We're missing a couple of decent wide receivers they had. AJ Green.
AJ Green, and TJ Husmazili.
Hoshimazode. That's a Peyton Manning commercial, isn't
That
it?
commercial is so great.
DJ Hoshimazode. TJ, who's your mama?
Yeah, that's a great commercial. All-time great right there. Did anybody else have Geno Atkins? I forgot to ask.
Nope.
Nope. Thought about it, but no.
Nope. He made my list of guys I looked into, but he just didn't make the cut for the top 4 for me. Yeah, but I like Geno Atkins. I always thought he was a stud. So awesome. All right, does Uncle Doug, you have a number 4 left?
Yep. Ken Riley.
Ken Riley.
Yeah. Old school.
I have him on my list, but didn't quite make it.
Okay.
I have Ken Riley on mine.
He's in my.
There we
He's
go.
in my
Yeah.
top 4.
Yeah, he's my third.
He's also
Okay.
my third.
Oh, there we go. Yeah,
Well.
I like Ken. He, 65 interceptions, had 5 TDs, 18 fumble recoveries. Didn't make a lot of all-stars. I mean,
None.
But-
He made none.
I mean, no Pro Bowls and 1 All-Pro, which
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
he had 1 first-team All-Pro, a couple second teams.
But no Pro Bowls? That's so confusing.
I
And
know.
his-
I didn't understand that either.
His 207 games are the most ever played in Bengals history.
He played his entire career there, I believe,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he did.
So,
How are you like 4th or 5th all time on the interceptions list and not in the Hall of Fame is my
Right,
question.
yeah.
And he
Yeah.
can't even make a Pro Bowl.
kind of what I'm wondering.
Like, there's no way he wasn't a stud. Like,
Well, no offense, Tyler, but could it be that he played for the Bengals?
Could be.
I don't know. That's mind-boggling.
I mean, we kind of had this discussion last week about Clay Matthews Sr.
Right.
He has
Yeah.
all these big numbers and long career, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. We didn't know why.
Well, like, you look at everyone around him on that list, and it's like, first ballot Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, no Pro Bowls. It's like,
Yeah.
what? Like, he's tied with Charles Woodson, one of the greatest all-around defensive backs ever for interceptions. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I didn't understand how he wasn't in there.
Yeah. I don't want to go on another 20-minute rant like I did on Clay Matthews, but...
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my number 4.
And then, Drew, you have a 4 left, right?
I do have a 4 left.
Okay.
And he's laughing, so I'm scared.
Is it Burrow or Chase?
No, it's not.
You thought about Joe Shiesty, though,
If he
didn't
would
you?
have won the Super Bowl, I was putting him on the list.
So
I love Joe Burrow.
I like him, too.
I'm not gonna lie. If he would have won the Super Bowl, it would have been premature, but I'd have been very hard pressed not to put him on the list.
Well, at the
Yeah.
pace Jamar Chase is going, he's
Yeah.
going to be the best receiver, and they've had a couple really good ones. But
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
those two stay healthy. Look out.
Jamar
They're going to
Chase-
be
Yeah.
special.
Jamar Chase is an animal. But anyway,
We have an offensive line now, though, so
that's good. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
got a couple guys in the offseason. That's good.
Yeah.
I saw that.
All right, my number 4 is Chad Ochocinco.
He made my list.
He's my number 2.
He's my number 3.
he's my number 3.
And I thought about it.
There you go.
Wow, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
he's my number 5.
So he's not a Hall of Famer, but the receivers are all backlogged right now with everything. Cause
There's only one Hall of Famer in Bengals
Yeah.
history, so we
Right,
weren't going
yeah.
to get 4 of them on a list.
No.
So
No.
yeah,
so he's got 11,000 yards,
it's like 30.
67 touchdowns. I mean, he's got Hall of Fame numbers whenever they get.
yeah,
the
you
receivers
are
don't get-
right. There's a backlog of
Like
receivers.
Torrey
waiting
Holt,
in.
Reggie Wayne aren't in.
Yeah.
There's other receivers too, but the receivers
They're
just
weird
backed
with
up.
receivers for some reason.
Yeah, I
now.
mean it took Terrell Owens 3 or 4 times to get in,
Yeah.
and he
Took
should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I think he got it on 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Because they let Marvin in before him, which I liked.
But Chad Johnson. He has 6 Pro Bowls, which is second most in Bengals history. He's first in yards and first in touchdowns, obviously receiving for the Bengals. So he's their all-time leading receiver in both major categories.
Not for long.
Well, that may be true.
Jamar's coming.
How many career?
Maybe T. Higgins.
Yeah, Deacons is.
Yeah, Higgins is good, too.
Y'all got a third receiver that's pretty good too,
Could
don't
be
you?
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd. There you go. Yeah.
I'll say I put him at 2 because he's not only just a borderline Hall of Famer. Well, on a franchise that only has one, so that's obviously really good. But is there any Bengal more famous than Chad Ochocinco? When you think of the Bengals, he's the first player that comes in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's because he was loud and
Carson Palmer.
obnoxious, and
Well, Carson Palmer was good, but like Chad Johnson to me, like not only was I'm not saying he was the best receiver in the NFL, but there for a while he was like probably top 5
Yeah.
easily.
He was always fun to watch too.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everyone knew who that guy was. Whether if you hated him because he was an obnoxious jackass or you thought he was hilarious, like he got so famous there for a while. They would show his whatever funny thing he did after a touchdown celebration, or when he pulled a fake Hall of Fame jacket out after scoring a touchdown and put it on the sideline, or played golf or wiped the baby or started saying "child please" to everybody, like, and became famous on Hard Knocks. They would show stuff he did on like Good Morning America the following Monday.
Yeah.
Like that's how famous he got. Like,
Well, he also had 6 straight 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He led the league in receiving one year.
didn't he have 6 straight over 1,100?
Yes. And so he went 1166, 1355, 1274, 1432, 1369 and led the league, and 1440. And the next year he must have got hurt because he didn't play that many games and he only had 500 yards.
So if you're the franchise's all-time greatest receiver, in my opinion, you're the most popular player in the franchise's history, whether if it's for good or bad things, but still the most popular. First person you think of, in my mind, obviously there's people younger and older than me that probably have different opinions, but I mean, production and how popular you are, I mean, because we've been putting popularity into this quite a bit, so that's why he's my number 2. Obviously, I couldn't put him at number 1. We all, I think, have the same number 1, but...
Yeah, I put him at 3, but I could be talked into him being the number 2, I think. Yeah, I could see it. By the way, maybe it was just something I built up in my head, but they have him listed at 6'1", 188. I thought he was bigger than that.
Yeah, at least 6'5", I would think.
I thought he was a big receiver.
I mean, I thought T.J. Hushmanzada was the big receiver, and Johnson was the quick, fast guy that did all the...
Yeah, I'm not saying he was necessarily like, jacked up. I was just...
Yeah.
I guess I'm saying big.
Thought he was tall.
I was thought he was tall, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, not that 6'1" is like a shrimp or anything. He's not Wes Welker. But I mean, I don't know. I thought like Ray, I thought he was, 6'3"-ish or at least, but 6'1", just kind of surprised me. All right. Who's got 3s left?
I do not.
Nobody?
Mm-mm.
All right, we're completely out of 3s and 4s. All right. So who has 2s left?
I do.
I do.
I do as well. All right. Ray, who you got number 2, man?
I got Corey Dillon.
Ooh, Corey Dillon. I like Corey Dillon. He's on my list, but I like him. Anybody else have Corey Dillon?
No.
No. All right, what you got to say about Dillon there, Ray?
Well, me and Wade had a discussion last night, and we was kind of going through the list, and we just really didn't know who to put on there. So this is kind of like my, throwing the dart at the wall kind of pick, because I really didn't want to go with receiver again, because there's going to be like 3 receivers kind of similar. Then you got like 3 quarterbacks who are kind of similar. One had MVP, so he kind of went up. So I went with the running back, and with a name like clock-killing Corey Dillon, I couldn't leave him off the list. I mean, he's got a Super Bowl title with, not with the Bengals, not with the Bengals, with somebody else.
The Cheatriots.
And he's 39th in TDs, 18th in rushing TDs. So, I mean, should he be at 2? I mean, I could probably move him around, but, I mean, I thought at least a nice little conversation about Corey Dillon thought I'd bring up.
Well, I have a question, Ray.
Okay.
You said that this was your throw it at the wall and see what sticks pick. So why is the guy that you threw at the wall to see if he stuck at 2 and not at 4?
Well, because, I mean, they were all kind of similar, because they're all, like, the grouping of the positions were all similar. So, I mean, maybe the wording of Corey Dillon being the dart being thrown at the wall, it was more like the whole list, to be totally honest. except for the first one, which I think...
We all have the first one.
Yeah, I think so. But, I mean, this one was kind of tough because, I mean, I don't know.
No, it was just a question.
Yeah,
he was one of the best running backs in the league for like 4 or 5 years straight. So
Yeah, and he's fairly high on the all-time rushing yards list, isn't he?
He's got like 10,000.
Yeah, he's 11,200. Yeah,
He's kind of like Chad Johnson. He's like, you have like your greatest of all time at your position. You have like your shoe-in Hall of Famers. You have like your guys that get into the Hall of Fame, but it takes a while. Then you have the guys like right below that Hall of Fame border. And Dylan and Chad Johnson and A.J. Green are all kind of at that like border of like probably won't get in or maybe get in on like a bad year, but they were really, really good for at least a while. And they accumulated pretty nice career totals.
He also had 6 straight years of over 1,100 yards.
Yeah, that's
to start his career. His rookie season, he went for 1,129. Then he went 1,130, 1,200, 1,435, 1,315, 1,311. Then he had a season where he was injured, and he came back with 1,600 yards.
Isn't he like in the top 20 in yards or 25 or something like that?
20th in rush yards. Yeah, 20th in rush yards.
I mean, top 20 of all time in rushing yards is no joke.
And he only played 10 seasons.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
not like
Emmitt Smith played like 15 or 16. I mean,
boy, don't even.
so it's like he wasn't sticking around tacking on yards trying to get a record or get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's fair. 4-time Pro Bowler. I don't know if you mentioned that, Ray.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
And his longest rush was 96 yards. So.
But Ray,
Yeah.
he didn't have any interceptions.
Well, shit. I guess he's going to 8th then.
Again, didn't he have some big record for a while?
He had the most. Didn't he have the? He had the most yards in
He had yards in something,
in like a playoff game or something.
or a game, or in a.
Probably wasn't a playoff game.
Well, that may be true. That may be true.
I can't remember what. He had some record for a while.
Well, did he have the record that
That Jamal Lewis broke?
Jamal Lewis broke? Did
the
he
yards in a game?
yards in a
Maybe.
game? I think he
Yeah.
maybe had.
He
May
had that,
have.
and then Lewis broke it, and then
Did
Adrian,
Adrian?
got it after that.
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause I know he had some really impressive record there for a while, like back in the early
He's a good
2000s. Yeah, he was a stud, but who knows? Could be a number of things.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. I have his football reference page pulled up, but I'm not getting anything on that. So, all right. Who has number 2 left?
I do.
I do.
You said you do, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
I got Ken Anderson as my number 2.
He's also mine.
He's mine.
He's
number
also
two.
my number 2.
Yeah.
Ray and Wade do not have Ken Anderson?
I do
No.
not know.
All right. Well, who would like to talk about Ken Anderson?
Well, he played in 192 games over 16 season, which he started 172 of those. He had 32,838 yards and 197 touchdowns, which are the most in Bengals history. He had a 91 and 81 record. He was in 4 Pro Bowls, and he was also the 1981 MVP and took the Bengals to the Super Bowl in '82.
He's also got an Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He's got an MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, which took me back because kind of like in the Browns episode where Brian Sipe had an MVP, I was taken back that Ken Anderson had an MVP. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's got, like I said, the MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year. He's the Bengals' all-time passing yards and touchdowns leader.
And wins leader.
Yeah, and wins
He's
leader.
won more games than.
And he had
yeah.
a winning record in Cincinnati, so that says something right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he and Boomer had very similar, like accolades and stuff, but Anderson just played longer for Cincinnati
Mhm. Yeah,
and
just
had
stayed
more
there.
of those Cincinnati
Yeah.
records built up. That's
Yep.
why I had him
Yeah.
ahead of Boomer.
Yep, me too. It was because Boomer left, and Anderson played 16 years there. Why he only played, I don't remember how many it was, 8 or 10 or something.
Boomer played, I think, like 10.
Yeah,
10.
that was the big difference because Boomer also had an MVP. So
Right.
Yeah,
So,
Boomer.
yeah.
Didn't Boomer have like 4 or 5 Pro Bowls? And I mean, Anderson have.
four
I
Pro
think they
Bowls.
each had 4.
yeah,
Gotcha.
he had 4.
Yeah, but one of Boomer's Pro Bowls wasn't in Cincinnati. It was in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. Boomer actually came back for his very last year in
His-
Cincinnati.
Yep.
And had like in like 5 games had 13 touchdowns to 2 interceptions.
Damn.
And went like
Mhm.
4-1 or something. But
I guess we should have done it in the Boomer episode, but I want to look at the MVP because the MVP was so screwed up in the which episode was it where we looked at the MVP and we're like, why does this person have an MVP?
Elway
We're talking about John Elway winning one of
Elway's
his.
shitty stats. And you got Montana, Rice, and like someone else who blew him out of the water, and I was like, okay.
I never did understand that.
So Ken Anderson won the MVP and led the league with 3,754 yards. This is 1981. So, I mean, 3,700 yards.
That's good.
29 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. He also ran for 320 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. And then Joe Montana came in second with 3,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. So Anderson definitely had a better year than Montana that year.
Okay.
He did.
That one sounds good.
And number 3 was Tony Dorsett, who rushed for 1,600 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Ooh. A lot of yards, low touchdowns.
4 touchdowns.
After 1,600 yards?
They just take him out.
So did he just
What's the deal there?
1,600 yards and 4 touchdowns?
Maybe Moose stole all his touchdowns? I don't know.
Maybe, yeah. They pounded it in when they got close.
I'd be pissed. I'm running all up and down this field for 1,600 yards, and you bitches keep taking me out.
Then
say 4 touchdowns?
number 4 on this list is Fred Dean, who I don't know who he is, but he's a defensive end, and but it says he had 13 sacks for 2 different teams, but on 2 teams during the season. I don't know who Fred Dean is.
Was one of the teams 49ers?
It doesn't have the teams listed. It says
Oh.
2 teams is what it
I
says.
was thinking he played for the 49ers, but I'm not sure.
But this is the interesting one. This person came in 6th. So I'm going to assume their team sucked. But here's the stats. This person, I'll let you guess who it is. 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns.
Marino.
No, it's not Marino. And 17 interceptions.
Oh, I got to think of back then.
4,800. So
It's a damn Faust.
it's Dan Fouts. He had 1,100 more yards and 4 more touchdowns.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
think of the offense he's running back then, though. They were. Oof. Yeah. How many
Here's the
interceptions did you say he
It
had?
was the interceptions that got him.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here's an interesting one. George Rogers, who again I don't know who he is, but
Running back.
he's a running back for
Yeah.
the Saints.
Right.
He also had 1,600 yards rushing that year with 13 touchdowns, but he came in 9th. Tell me that's not a Cowboys thing.
Right, yeah.
Oh, the Cowboys episode's
Well,
going to be all
playing
about
for
a
the Saints
Cowboys
back
thing.
then.
Yeah, the Aints.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean-
George Rogers was like first pick out of like South Carolina. He was a good running back, but he went to New Orleans and disappeared.
Well, my guess is Anderson probably got bonus points for carrying the Bengals. And at that point, the Chargers had been good for a while, or they'd already had quite a few moments. They were contenders, never won, but they were contenders for a while. And that's when that was the air raid offense, right, Uncle Doug?
Yeah, Don Coryell.
Yeah.
Air Coryell.
And they literally just bombed it out nonstop.
Had Kellen Winslow.
Yeah, Kellen
Joyner.
Winslow
Charlie
is the
Joyner.
Yeah.
Who did Charlie Joyner not play a year for the Bengals, maybe?
He did play for the Bengals. He popped up on one of the.
That's what I was thinking.
It was like Hall of
He spent
Famers that ever played for the Bengals. And
Right.
he was one of them.
but he only played like 1 or 2 years
Yeah,
for the Bengals.
same thing with T.O. T.O. was on the list after he played 1 year with Cincinnati.
The Chargers went 10-6 and won their division.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't know then.
I'm gonna look at the Bengals.
Bonus
record.
points to the Bengals, yeah.
The Bengals went 12-4 and won their division.
Because the Chargers started their run in the 70s, right? Isn't that when Dan Faust and all them really took off, like the late 70s? Or was it the 80s?
No, it would have been probably late 70s.
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow this same season had 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kellen Winslow was good.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was just me looking at the MVP voting because it's always funky, but that one was actually pretty good.
Pretty
Yeah.
legit, yeah.
All right. So, does anybody have a number 2 left? Nobody. So I assume we all have the same guy at number 1.
I would hope so.
I hope so.
The only Hall of Famer.
Marvin Lewis.
Great guy.
So, Anthony Munoz.
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 And Ray, he has 4 touchdowns.
I see that.
Me and Ray looked it up last night.
4 touchdowns.
That was a big deciding factor.
Yeah. When you're talking about, Hall of Fame players, sometimes when you can say, oh, well, he was one of the greatest or maybe the greatest ever, that gets thrown around a lot. That's pretty legit in this case. He might be the greatest left tackle ever.
I
awesome.
went to a site. I was telling Tyler this on the way down here. I went to Bleacher Report earlier, and they said didn't matter left or right. He's the greatest tackle in the history of football.
Yeah, like
He
I
was
read
awesome.
like he was just didn't he have like what was it? He obviously had like double-digit Pro Bowls, but it was like 9 or 10 All Pros or
This is a
something.
nine All Pros. Yeah.
11 Pro Bowls
Like-
and 9 All-Pro.
Making that's just
And-
insane.
He was there for both the Super Bowls.
Yep.
He played with Boomer and Kenny Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
So he protected both of them.
He was there for 185 games and started 183 of them.
That's
84.
crazy.
84.
Yeah, 84 of them is what it says here anyway. So he in the game. I'm trying to figure out where this game is.
Like it's crazy that
Oh,
we're on. Where are we on? We're on our 4th team, right?
yeah.
And we've talked about already 3 other all-time great offensive linemen, and with Ogden and we talked about Webster, and then we
Joe
put Thomas
Joe
on
Thomas.
our list. And I'd be honest, Anthony Munoz is probably on another level compared to those 3. Like he's legit, just otherworldly. That's how good he was.
By the way, guys, there's another really great tackle that played for the Bengals. I mean, Willie Anderson was a really great tackle
Mhm.
when
Yeah.
I was growing up.
Did anyone consider Whitworth?
I didn't even look into Whitworth, to be
He
honest.
played
with you.
there for the first 10, 11 years of his career before he
Yeah.
went to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I mean, he started his first couple Pro Bowls and All Pros were with Cincinnati.
Well, who else did everybody look into that we haven't mentioned so far?
I looked into Whitworth and Dillon and AJ Green.
Yeah, I looked at AJ Green.
I had Tim Cromie on my list too.
Yeah, I looked at him a little bit too.
Nose tackle. He played 12 seasons. He had 1,017 tackles and 34.5 sacks in his career.
Nope.
If Palmer would have been there a little longer, I would have really considered Palmer.
I'd say Palmer is the cautionary tale about Joe Burrow. Because Palmer, if you take, he was the 3rd best quarterback in the league for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Behind Manning and Brady, he was the next best quarterback, and it wasn't really that close. He was that good for a couple of years there. And then, what's his name? Van Olhoffen from Pittsburgh pretty much
that was
ruined his career.
Yeah, that pretty
intentional.
much ended it.
Yeah.
Well,
Dude never even
it
plays
really-
and comes in and just, hey, let's just take a shot right at your knee.
Because I remember because I got in an argument with, I think it was Dad about it. And I was like, that fat bastard directly saw him, got up, and just kept on rolling. Like, because the Bengals that year, I believe, were like the favorite.
11 and 5. We
Or
were 11
one-
and
yeah.
5.
Or one of the favorites,
Yeah,
anyway.
they were.
I shouldn't say the favorite, but one of the like they were really, really good there. For that's Chad Johnson and T.J. Husmanzada, Palmer, and they had that Johnson at running back.
That's his brother,
Rudy.
Rudy.
Yep.
Yeah, and they had a pretty good defense, if I remember correctly, and like they were supposed to do some damage, and then yeah, that all went down. He did rebound pretty well years down the line with Arizona.
Yeah, but it took
But-
him a while. He bounced
he
around.
retired at one point.
He retired. He played for the Raiders for a couple of years. He bounced around a little bit, and he said it was a mental thing. Like he couldn't get over like when bodies would fall down around his
Right,
legs. He
see,
couldn't
yeah.
handle it, and he finally was able to get away from that. And like you said, he had some pretty nice years.
He had
And-
like at least 2 like monster seasons there.
Well, I think he made
With Larry-
2. Did he make 2 NFC Championship game appearances with Arizona? I know he made at least 1.
They made a
Didn't-
couple
He made
runs.
a Super Bowl, didn't he?
No,
Everything
that,
to
that,
Warner.
that was Kurt
Oh, that was
Warner.
Warner. Yeah, you're right.
But it was
You're right.
almost a similar. Like he still had Larry. He had Bolden would have left when he was there, I believe. But he had Larry and
there was a
we're missing
Floyd.
Michael Floyd.
Michael Floyd. Yeah.
He was kind of a 1 or 2 year hit wonder. But they had like this guy named a little slot guy, Breston. He was pretty
yep.
good.
Yep. Steve Preston.
Something like that. He was a little quick guy. Got over the middle, did little short routes. He was good. Like they had. I think we're even forgetting 1 or 2 people. They had Beanie Wells at running back.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of, was he Ohio State?
Yep, Ohio State.
He was decent for a year or two. Like yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, anybody looked into it all?
I don't know. We looked at a big old, 25 player list last night.
yeah, that one you had pulled up. Yeah.
But I think we talked about half of them already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said we probably talked about more than half of them, to be honest. But
Yeah.
it's an interesting franchise. It's,
Trey Hendrickson. Yeah.
No,
1 year, he's a
yeah.
stud.
I mean, he did put up a hell of a year. If you just go by last year, just, Burrow, Chase, and Hendrickson all tore it up.
That's right.
Let's be honest, Burrow will make the list unless
Something happens.
something terrible happens, and a good chance Chase will be on his
Well,
way.
okay, this is my question. Okay. Chase could probably pass Ochocinco's yards record in like 6 seasons. Does that make him better than Chad Ochocinco? Or does it just mean the volume is ridiculous? Like, the volume in today's
right.
passing game is
If
just
he-
crazy.
So
if he
much more,
really
yeah.
passes it in 6 seasons, yes, it does mean he's better. Because that would be fucking insane. So yes, but if it, did you compare Ochocinco and AJ Green? It's ungodly
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
Like they're right there in line with each other. But the reason I was so much higher on Chad Johnson is because when you think of the whole, like I said, popularity and who do you think of when you think of the Bengals, AJ Green, I'm sorry, is down the list of ways before even though they're probably about the same quality of receiver. AJ Green was a 1,000-yard receiver at least 5 or 6 times, just like Chad Ochocinco.
And the other thing with me was Ochocinco played a much larger percentage of his career in Cincinnati than AJ Green has.
Yeah.
Really? I thought it was both like 10 years.
AJ Green was like 8 for sure.
No, I'm not saying that they didn't play the same amount of years, but AJ Green's played longer elsewhere than Ochocinco. Ochocinco only played 1 year outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they played the same amount of years, to be honest. Because AJ Green's only played 1 season anywhere else, right?
Really?
Because he played in
I'm pretty sure he's
Arizona.
been away for like 3 years.
Oh, he didn't play because he's hurt.
So he was on the Bengals roster, but he didn't do anything. He just
No, you're right, Wade. He's only played 1 year outside of Cincinnati.
Yeah, Arizona, right? Last year.
Yeah, Arizona. Yeah, one.
And he had a pretty decent year for him.
I think he was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played 9 years in Cincinnati.
He definitely has not aged very well.
Although he
I
is
think
He's always hurt.
He had a lot of lower
Yeah.
body injuries, I believe.
he is signed to play in Arizona again this year.
Yeah,
But he had 54 catches for 848 yards and 3 touchdowns this last year in
that's a
Arizona.
quality 2 or 3 receiver. I mean, they have Hopkins and now they have Hollywood Brown.
It's the best season he's had in quite a while.
I mean, he's been injury prone for the past. But there for a while, he was a consistent 1,000 yards year in year out for quite a while.
Yeah, he went 1057, 1350, 1426, 1041, 1297, 964, and then 1078.
So I thought him and Chad Ochocinco, as far as just numbers and ability, were very, very, very close
And Jamar was 1455 and 13.
as a rookie.
touchdowns for his first year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he's dude in the playoffs. That some of that shit he did, like against the Chiefs, that he just completely destroyed in the
Yes.
playoffs, like that. He was just. Sometimes Joe Burrow was just like, I don't care who's over there. I'm just lobbing it to Chase, and Chase is gonna come down with it. Like,
Well, I watched the regular season game where he had like 250 receiving
Mhm.
yards against the Chiefs. That was insane. Like, Burrow a lot of times,
And 3 touchdowns.
didn't even look over there. Just knew he was on that side of the field and just threw the ball up. And
Yeah.
Chase just went up and got it. Like, it was nuts. All right. Before we get too far away from this, we have 8 guys for 4 spots. We have Boomer, Gino, Ken Riley, Chad Johnson, Corey Dillon, Ken Anderson, and Anthony Munoz. So we can all agree that Anthony Munoz makes the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
have him.
Every single person
I
had him
would
at
say
1,
so.
so I think that's a pretty clear little ordeal here. All right, so
Did we all have Boomer?
I didn't have any quarterbacks.
Oh, you had none. Okay.
all right, so we have 2 quarterbacks. We have a receiver, a running back,
Defensive back.
defensive back, and a defensive tackle. And the offensive lineman that we've already agreed made our list.
Yeah.
So should we decide between the 2 quarterbacks, or do we want multiple quarterbacks?
How many of us put multiple quarterbacks on our list?
I did.
I did.
Whoa. Okay.
4 of us did.
Looking like multiple quarterback finally.
Yeah.
Weak.
I'm not stuck on the quarterbacks. I could be talked out of it. None of them are like so overwhelmingly great that it's like I have to have them. But
If you're going to choose between the two, I think it's definitely got to be Ken Anderson.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think Ken Anderson has the superior Bengals career.
I just went with them because they were there for both Super Bowls. They both got an MVP.
Yeah.
I don't know how many MVPs Cincinnati has, but
Maybe
Two?
the two.
I'm thinking,
Yeah.
And it was,
Yeah.
8 years, back-to-back quarterbacks, too, so
yeah.
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Boomer took over for Anderson. Anderson's last couple of years there were to be Boomer's backup. So, it's crazy that like your two. We talked about this with the Browns too, but like maybe the two best quarterbacks in your franchise were butted up against each other. Like how often does that happen?
I don't know. The problem I have is, they were both good, decent quarterbacks. So I'm not really trying to say either one of them were shit. But Anderson's obviously there a lot longer, so that counts for something.
Yep.
And he has more totals because Boomer left, obviously.
Yep.
But like Anderson, when like looking at Anderson's stats, I just pulled it back up to make sure I was right on this.
Mm-hmm.
He has like the MVP year, obviously very impressive. And he has one or two other years where you're like, all right, that's decent, and then a lot of mediocre to just shit years. Boomer has at least 3 or 4 years that I would consider really, really, really good, plus the MVP year. He has a couple shit years, obviously, as well, and then some mediocre years in there. But I thought Boomer's ceiling, was much better than Anderson's. I was going to put Boomer over Anderson if I did it. But, again, that's just my opinion. But
By the way, Ken Anderson led the NFL in passing one year with 2,600 yards.
was it like a shortened season?
Oh.
Yeah. Back years ago, they just didn't pass as
14.
much.
So he played in 13 games. So
Like, for an example, you have the MVP year, like I said. Obviously, he won the MVP, so he was a badass that year. But outside of the MVP year, his career high in yards is 3,100.
just led the NFL.
Yeah. And then his highest touchdowns is what, 21? Boomer.
Yeah, outside of the MVP year, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes over 3,000 yards twice. I believe Boomer does that numerous times.
Boomer goes over 3,000 yards 7 times.
Yeah. He has over 20 touchdowns, 5 times?
Well, you're right, but
And almost all those are in Cincinnati?
like we're talking about some difference here just in time, I think, because like I said, Ken Anderson led the NFL in yards, 2,600. He threw for over 3,000 yards for like 6 straight seasons, and none of them led the NFL in passing. So, obviously the NFL was doing something different. So, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not completely stuck to either one of these guys.
Well, let's think about it. Can we roll back around? Go
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Let it marinate for a little bit.
Well, what about, then we have, 3 guys that are on one list? Dillon, Riley, and Atkins. Is that correct? They all made one list.
Riley only made one list.
No, me and Doug got Riley.
Oh,
Riley.
got 2 of them. Oh, you 3 of you. Okay, my bad.
Oh, okay.
So Dillon and Atkins then made one list.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
So Wade has Atkins and Ray has Dillon.
Yeah.
Either one of you willing to come off one of them?
I'd say the throw in the dart pick, maybe.
I could come off Dillon, but I don't know if I'm going to come off Riley.
Yeah, I guess I just forgot that so many of you guys had Riley. I'm just looking at the top of my screen as I have all their pages open. looking at guys.
I mean, I'm not going to fight to the death for Geno Atkins. I mean, for a franchise like this, I do think multiple first-team All-Pros and I think 8 straight Pro Bowls is something to consider. But, or I guess it might not have been straight Pro Bowls, but 8 Pro Bowls. I don't know if they were in a row or not.
Let me look. I can tell you. No, they're not straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He went to 6 straight.
No.
2 of them were separated.
I mean, that's more than a lot of these, almost everyone else we can talk about.
Well, maybe the article I read about Chad Johnson was a little older because it said Chad Johnson had the second most Pro Bowls in Bengals history, and he only has 6. And Geno has 8. And obviously Munoz has 11. So
Some of this stuff, well, I guess I'm thinking all pros. Some of these sites only list with their first team.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so I've had that problem. I look guys up and it's like one site says they've got 1, another site says they've got 4, and it's like, all right, well, then you get to looking, it's like, all right, there's 1 first team and 2 or 3 second teams. So
Yeah, that's what me and Wade came across last night on that list we were looking at. It was way out of date.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, the one you had pulled up, Atkins, is only in like his 4th season in the NFL.
Yeah.
okay. So what about? Well, how many of us had Chad Johnson?
I did.
I did.
Yeah, I did.
Just 3 of us.
Oh, I had Chad Johnson, sorry.
4. So Doug and Ray did not have Chad
No.
Johnson.
Mm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Counting the tallies.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out how close we can get to a unanimous decision again. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Would we all agree on Chad Johnson? I mean, how many of us?
I definitely think he should be
Yeah.
on there.
So he was my number 5, so I'd be open to,
He was my
to
number
Chad Johnson.
2. We had, 3 threes?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my number
So
3.
he's the closest we're probably going to get to another unanimous.
So Chad Johnson.
Yeah, I'll go down with that. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to close those pages so I know that they're done. All right. So we have 5 guys left for 2 spots. Just for everybody to remember, we have Boomer, Geno, Ken Riley, Corey Dillon, and Ken Anderson.
Well, I mean, Riley is like top 5 all time in interceptions.
Is he really?
Yeah, but I didn't.
I sorry. I thought when you said Ken, I automatically went to Anderson. I was like, is he really?
Oh no. No, I'm just Riley is, I believe, 4th or 5th, something like that, tied with Charles Woodson, or at least somewhere in that vicinity.
I mean, 65 is pretty outrageous.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at it in Bengals history, the second guy in our history is like 30.
Is it Pac-Man?
I don't remember.
And what era did Riley play in again?
69 through 83.
And for him to Oh, have that's that many interceptions in a run-heavy
Right.
offense, that's really pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken Riley was pretty good. I don't know. I still don't know why he's not in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
or more Pro Bowl or a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, he doesn't have any Pro Bowls.
You know, I just didn't understand. It's one of those weird deals.
It is very weird. He's not in the Hall, but we don't really have to worry about that.
He didn't make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
He didn't make a Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
NFL Pro Football Reference has him tied at 5th with 65. He's only 3 behind Night Train Lane, who's considered the best defensive back of an entire generation.
Yeah.
Like the first great defensive back. They're 3 interceptions apart, and he can't even make a Pro Bowl. And that's mind-boggling.
He must have pissed somebody off.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, that's
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
Honestly, something had to be going on there.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. He's got same amount of interceptions as Charles Woodson. He's got 1 more interception than Ed Reed. He's got more interceptions than Ronnie Lott. I mean, it's Mel Blount. Like, these are all first ballot Hall of Famers that he's got.
Yeah, and he played 207 career games in Cincinnati.
Which is the most by a Bengal.
He played like 14 seasons, right?
15.
15?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not, I mean, that's a really long career, but it's not like he stuck around for like 22 years just trying to grab interceptions. Like,
that's true.
There have been guys that have done that. And
Well, his final year in the league, he had 8 interceptions.
Wow. Maybe he should have stuck around and padded those stats. Like,
Still playing corner, by the way. He hadn't moved off his position.
So,
Well, do we want to put him on and then decide between the quarterbacks, or?
might not be a bad idea.
We can put Riley on. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Or
Everybody else
Gino
okay
and
with
Dylan. I didn't say a chance, Ray. Yeah, he must have really pissed off some sports writers or something. I don't know what's going on there.
All right. So we decided that Dylan and Gino are out.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So we have 2 MVP quarterbacks. Both went to Super Bowls. One, like Wade said earlier, played longer in Cincinnati and has better career Cincinnati numbers. And then we have one that left and has better overall career numbers when you add in the outside of Cincinnati stuff. I wonder if I can pull them up side by side so I don't have to keep going back and forth. Hold on.
I mean, most of you guys had Anderson higher, right?
I had Anderson too.
I had
Yeah.
him at 2.
Yeah, I had Anderson at 2. Just one little more thing about Ken Riley. I was looking up why. It's an article about why he didn't get in. And this guy is saying there's no excuses for him not being in there. But the excuses he's heard were that he played his entire career in a small medium market, never voted to the Pro Bowl, and he was overshadowed by Mel Blount of the Steelers, who was in his own division. And so Mel Blount kept getting the Pro Bowls instead of Riley.
Mel Blount was also winning Super Bowls every other year.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true too. Yeah.
But the funny part is, Ken Riley had more interceptions than Mel Blount when their careers are over.
Yeah.
By a decent margin. I mean, but
I mean,
whatever.
here's my thing, and I'm not saying this is the case. I'm saying I don't know what the case is, but this could be a what is his name? The Diggs, the corner from Dallas this last year.
Oh,
Stephon or not?
No.
Trayvon?
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
I think-
Stephan's the wide receiver. Isn't
Yeah,
Trayvon
either one.
Diggs, yeah.
Stephon Diggs' brother, the
Yeah.
corner. He led the NFL in interceptions this year by a very healthy margin, but he got burnt every other
I
play.
think he also led the league in like most yards given up too. So
Yeah.
he's either picking the ball off or giving up a huge gain.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe we're looking at something like that. Maybe he wasn't great on coverage, but he was a one hell of a ball hawk. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I never watched the guy play. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
But
I wasn't even thought of.
in
Back when he
1969, that was the year my dad was born. So, yeah. But so I pulled up Ken Anderson and Boomer Esiason's career numbers side by side. So this also includes Boomer's seasons in New York and Arizona. But Boomer throws for about 5,000 more yards and like 40 more touchdowns. Their QB rate is almost exactly the same. Ken Anderson has a couple percentage point, like two points higher on the completion percentage. Boomer Esiason threw 800 more times in his career. That's a lot of passes. And Boomer Esiason has 24 more interceptions over his career. Am I missing any stats here? Anderson ran for 700 more yards over his career, and 13 more rushing touchdowns, I guess. Boomer Esiason has one catch for -8 yards in his career.
I guess for me the deciding factor was I just thought Kenny did more with the Bengals because he's their leader in passing yards, TDs, and wins.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I had him ahead of Boomer. So.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
I think I would agree too. And the fact that he played his whole career in Cincinnati was another thing I thought about.
I'll be honest, I don't give a shit. I stand by the fact I think Boomer was better, but I'm not going to cause an uproar about it.
So, Kate Anderson?
That's fine. I mean, they were both on a similar level. It's not like Boomer's like the all-time leader in touchdowns or something. Like they were both good quarterbacks. It's fine.
Well, I mean, are you going to be this easy to get along with when we're talking about John Harbaugh and Peyton Manning? Which one we
Oh,
put on our
God.
list? Or
I'll kick you out of the apartment if you.
it was John, not Jim, right? That played for the Colts.
No, it was. Wait, which one's which?
I know exactly. I
That
was
was Jim.
It was
Jim was the
Jim.
quarterback.
Jim, because Jim
Jim
played
was
for the
the
Bears too.
okay.
John was just a
Yeah, I said John, and then I sat here and thought about it. Did I say the right Harbaugh?
No,
I don't
think
even know.
Jim is, yeah.
All right. Well, another week and another Mount Rushmore accomplished by Sports the NEMO Way, and it is as follows: Anthony Munoz, Chad Johnson, I will not say the other word, Ken Riley, and Ken Anderson, double Kens to end our list. So we have a offensive lineman, a receiver, a cornerback, and a quarterback on our Bengals Mount Rushmore. So as our resident Bengals fan, Tyler, how do you feel about our end of Mount Rushmore here?
I mean, I like it. It's pretty close to mine, so
Yeah, dude.
I'd agree.
You said you didn't have Ken Riley, correct?
No, but he was like my top. He was like top 6 in mine.
Yeah. Who did you have instead of him? You had did you have Boomer?
Yeah, I had Boomer.
You had Boomer instead of
yeah.
yeah. So the same as me. I lost Boomer and for Riley. So yep. This is so 2 straight weeks. Wade and I had the exact list as our overall list, but I lost that this week, and I think so did Wade. So.
Yeah, Wade definitely did. He lost his boy Gino.
Oh yeah, correct. All right, well, Tyler, at this point in the podcast, we do trivia. Would you like to participate?
I'll just watch.
You just watch. Okay. All right. Well, all right. So that will end our Bengals portion of this episode, and we will move into trivia. Are you ready, Drew?
I am ready. What is the most years any player has played in the NFL?
Most. Say that again. I'm sorry.
Most years any
Most
player has
years.
played. So how many seasons?
You want the player or the years?
The years.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure I had the right thing there.
It's gonna be some damn
bonus for
kicker.
the
or
name?
I'll
some
say it's
shit.
being a kicker or a punter. That's what it's
So
going
we
to be.
get bonus for who it is?
No.
Oh, come on.
I'll tell you who it is.
I think I know.
I have a
an
good
idea.
guess of who I think it is, but I don't.
Well, I'll tell you the weird part. He hasn't played the most games all time, but he's
Oh,
played
really?
the most seasons.
Right. Now
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I know that. Sounds right.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one.
I guess.
All
All
right.
right. I said 24.
Okay.
I also said 24.
All right.
26.
All right.
I said 23.
Wade is correct. It is 26.
Oh, my God.
Was it George Blanda?
It is George Blanda.
Good job, Waster.
That's right.
All right. Wade is now tied with Uncle Doug.
Yeah,
Well, you told me last week I gotta get a point. So I
that's
got a
right.
point.
I told him.
All right. Who would like to go next, gentlemen?
I'll go. I kept it with the Bengals. Carlos Dunlap and Geno Atkins are 1 and 2 all time on their sack list. Who's number 3?
Geno and Dunlap, you said?
Or 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Who's 3?
Huh. Geno and Dunlap. Didn't they play together for quite a while?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm struggling to name another Bengals pass rusher, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm just writing down. Pure guess.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna write down a Bengal defensive player because I don't know. All right, I'm ready.
I said perfect.
I said perfect.
I said perfect.
Jesus Christ. He's
I
like a
just said
middle
Strahan.
linebacker.
I have no idea.
Eddie Edwards.
I never would have guessed that.
Nope.
I don't know who
Weird.
that
He
is.
didn't start. He was like almost 30, and then he started for like 4 or 5 years and racked up like 56.
Tyler, do you know Eddie Edwards?
I just had looked it up. He's actually number 1 on the list.
Eddie Edwards? I guess I had an old list.
When did he play?
And Carlos was 2 with 81.5, and Gino is 3 with 75.5.
So how much does Eddie
Nice
Edwards
list.
have? How many?
83.5.
This one said 47 and a half.
When did he play?
I can look up another one.
Wade was trying to cheat us.
Yeah.
He could have just asked who's the Bengals' all-time lead sack leader. We'd all been like,
We just
oh.
still got it wrong.
I'd have guessed Gino. So I mean,
So,
When was this thing
Yeah.
updated? Yeah.
Second shot and getting around.
It was updated in 2021. I don't know. I'll just do another one, I guess.
all right,
oh, well.
Go ahead and go. I'll look up another one.
all right. Ray or
Yeah,
Uncle
I'll
Doug.
go ahead and do
Okay.
this one. Okay. Which team used to play at Adelphia Coliseum?
can you repeat that, please?
Which team used to play at Adelphia Coliseum?
Delphia.
I have a guess.
Yeah, I got to guess.
And let's see if Drew gets it right for 3 weeks in a row.
What was the name of it again?
Adelphia kind of sounds like Philadelphia, but it's just A in front of it. So Adelphia.
I'm just gotta guess a random team here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Everybody ready?
Okay. Oh, I spelled
Yeah.
that wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
I said the Eagles.
I said the Titans.
I said the Browns.
Oh, I actually guessed Titans too. Spelled it wrong somehow. But
All right. The correct answer is Tennessee Titans.
No
Yeah.
way.
I guessed.
go,
I didn't know
Wade.
that.
We
I've got
both
to
get one there.
Oh
I
my
got to get a
gosh.
different book or something. This is killing me.
This is ridiculous.
Wade and I aren't complaining. We're okay with it.
I admit it, I guessed,
I
but
think I'm still in my podium spot, so I'm good.
You are, but the lead's getting big. Like
you're tied with Biggie.
I'll say, yeah, three of us are gonna have a hard time catching up at this rate. Oh man, football is kicking my ass.
Okay.
Oh wow. All right.
My turn now.
Yeah,
eh?
Uncle Doug. Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Surprisingly enough, the Bengals have only retired one jersey. What number is it?
I have my answer.
That was pretty quick. I think Alex getting a point.
Oh, I wonder who it is.
It's
You
Andy
know his
Dalton.
number though.
No,
It's Andy Dalton, guys.
I'm pretty sure it's in the 70s. I was gonna guess.
If you guess this right, I'll be so pissed.
God, I
You
hope
want
I
player or number?
Number.
Everybody knows who it is.
I don't know the number.
God, I hope I get this.
You know what would have been funny is if it was if he gave us the player, like it's Ocho Cinco. What's his number?
I know that one. I know that one.
Okay. Is that everybody?
Damn question.
I don't know.
What you guys got?
78.
But 75.
69.
68.
Okay, I looked this up on several sites to make sure I was correct. It is 54.
No.
Bob Johnson. He was the first player ever drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals.
I knew Nino's number. I knew it because I looked it up earlier.
And it is not retired yet. Because all the sites I looked at, they're all said the same thing. There's 4 numbers that need to be retired. Munoz, Anderson, I think Riley. I mean, there's several of them that they say should be retired.
Who, Bob? Who?
His name is Bob Johnson. He was like a center or something.
He never even came up today, and we listed
He
like.
was their very first draft pick when they started the franchise.
Well,
I
that's
thought I was
right
going to
there.
score a point.
I knew it wasn't going to be Munoz. I knew it wasn't going to.
all going, we all know who it is. I'm going, no, you don't.
No, I knew it wasn't him. That's why I was guessing a random number.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
goodness.
dude.
Well, you're not going to ask who their only Hall of Famer is.
But he wanted his number. I thought it was a decent question. I was like,
Yeah.
he wants Munoz's number. Okay, I know this one. Nope, not tonight.
I got to protect Wade and I's lead.
There we go.
You don't have to protect very hard. We're not very.
All right, who has to? Is Wade?
Yeah.
You seem so thrilled about it, Wade.
The Cardinals won, Tyler.
I know. I saw that.
Well, apparently my last question wasn't updated since 1988. So I don't know what to trust. Apparently it was much better than I gave him credit for.
We didn't know who
But
it
it gave
was.
the Bengals 2021 record at the top of the page. So it was like newest record, like 10-6 from 2021. Apparently they didn't update the sacks in 1988, but
Well, they still don't have tackles for Mike Singletary and Lawrence Taylor.
tackles. I don't know. Tackles are weird.
No, that's just weird.
No, that one just, it was so stupid. The guy that came in the league in 1979, we have his tackle numbers. The guy that came in the league in 1983, we do not.
We don't. Yeah, that
We
makes
need
no
to
sense.
do a deep research dive on tackles. Like when they officially got kept track of.
Like, did certain teams start keeping track of them before others?
Maybe.
Like,
Maybe, who knows?
I mean, it could have been like something
No
like triple
idea.
doubles. Like for a while, triple doubles weren't like officially tracked by like the NBA. It was something a reporter started doing just to track for Magic Johnson, and I'm sure it caught on other places, and then I'm sure eventually it just got tracked on. Anyway, I found something to ask.
All right.
okay.
Where did Boomer go to college?
Uncle Doug's going to... Oh, I thought Uncle Doug would write this right down.
I feel like I've seen a picture of him when he's broadcasting of him in college.
No,
and
this
then
one's
him
not
and his
updated. I don't know what to tell you.
It shouldn't change. I mean,
You never know.
I'll guess.
yeah, mine is
Gotta have
definitely
a
a
guess.
guess. Total guess.
I almost asked Gino's college, but decided not to.
I feel like I should know where Gino went to college, but I don't.
It's a big one. Well, I mean, that's not my question, so I can tell you. It's Georgia. Gino went to Georgia.
Should have known that.
Mm.
I did not know that.
Everybody got an answer for this one?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I put USC.
But Virginia Tech.
I said Maryland.
I said Moorhead State.
It's Maryland.
What the hell? This trivia is horseshit.
I don't know. Wade and I are kind of enjoying it.
They've each have gotten 2 tonight.
Well, Alex, do you want me to take away the whiteboards?
Oh, man, this is awful. That's just me, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Dad, Alex has to ask this question.
Oh, I thought Alex was done.
Oh,
we were done.
No, because Wade had to
Wade
ask
and
too.
We gotta grab that.
Yeah.
Wade and I were quitting.
You guys are putting your boards up. I'm like, well, you don't have to answer.
yeah, you guys can take the last question
Me and
off.
Ray will try and get it right.
All right, guys. No, so if they're taking the question off, you're getting it right. I'm telling you right now.
What number is Peyton Manning?
That'd be too hard. Ray would miss it.
I know. It's been a rough go.
What
so
is
far.
Ray's favorite football team? No. Anyway, where did our list mate Ken Anderson go to college? And I had this question before Wade asked his. I'm not copying, but I'll give you a hint. He played his college football Division III.
Division 3.
Okay.
All right, I gotta guess.
Division 3.
Mm-hmm. There can't be too many Division III NFL quarterbacks, right?
No, there can't be.
And he won an MVP.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. Interesting.
Got a Division Twoer, Carson Wentz.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you know what this school is?
No.
Is
He's made his way through this room,
The
unfortunately.
Washington Crusaders.
Whatever. Is it the Crusaders now?
No,
Commanders.
Commanders. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Something
Yeah.
dumb.
That's all right. I still say the Indians instead of the Guardians.
That one's harder, I think.
And I still say Oakland instead of Las Vegas for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And San Diego Chargers.
Yes, I do that one too.
That's gonna be hard though.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say San Diego. No.
Well, I just don't want to say Los Angeles for like 12 sports teams in my life. You know, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
I got to guess.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, I got one. I don't know how to pronounce it.
All right. Well, what you got?
Augustana, Illinois.
That's what I have.
Said St. Boswell.
And I had to say Quincy University.
They're D2.
These
Whatever.
dipshits are right. How the hell did you know that?
I looked it up and I was looking at my questions.
What the hell? A Division III college, and 2 people got it right.
They got 3 points. Both of them did today.
Now you feel my pain, don't you?
I still got my podium spot.
Who gives a shit?
I told you that is my goal for everyone. I don't have to win.
How do you
I
pronounce
just got to
it?
be on the podium.
Augustana.
Augustana? Okay.
How did you know it, Uncle Doug?
I just remember it from years
He knows
ago.
every college question we've ever had.
Yeah, he was the college guy in the NBA episode.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are so few that play D3 whenever you talk about him.
Yeah.
It came up.
Gotcha. It's still horse shit, but whatever. All right, after this week's tallies, the standings are as follows. Uncle Doug is in first with 7 points. Wade is in second with 6 points. Drew is in third with 2 points.
Best third place, baby.
And Alex and Ray are tied for fourth with 1 point.
Welcome to the lower tier, Alex.
Just hitting you a little deep over there, Alex.
We might not win here.
One
but we are
division down.
comfortable.
Yes, 1 division down.
Oh.
So that will bring us
Oh, no.
next week. We start the NFC North.
Ooh. Okay.
We better not be doing that one team.
The one.
Really?
You don't even say their name.
I ain't saying
one
it.
that-
Isn't
You talking about the one that owns the Bears?
No. That's a 97-year-old lady.
I don't think we decided who we were doing first, did we?
I don't think
No.
so.
Just pick one. Who
never
gives a
did.
It
shit?
doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on who we're trying to bring in as a guest.
Yeah.
Because we have guests for three
Should we keep it a
three teams
surprise?
in that division.
Oh, yeah.
So we don't have a guest for the Vikings, and then we have guests to try and wrangle for the last 3, and we're doing this live on the podcast.
Yeah.
Who cares?
What should we tell them? It's either going to be someone besides the Vikings.
It might be the Vikings if none of our guests can make it.
Why don't we just end the episode and talk about it?
Yeah, so tune in next week for a surprise NFC North Division football team. And thanks for tuning in to Sports the NEMO Way.